In today's session, we have Elaine in the house. What up, Elaine? Whoa, 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 whoa. Welcome to the 10K club. Well, it's a lot more than that. What did you end up finishing this month with? Was it all your
Uh,
stats in?
I feel like it was 57, and then I had a call on the first, which was booked before, so I'm going to add that. So I think it ended up at 63 something.
Nice. Nice. Very good. So look, what was the problem before you started with us that you thought that you had, or like that drove you to this decision to join us?
Yeah, so my problem, I guess, was that I wanted to automate everything I was doing. I'd been running the program a few times before. It'd only been a 12-week program. I was not sure if I wanted to scale. I didn't think I could scale that program. So I think being on um, clients of automation, in just being in that conversation, had my creativity go, actually, and conversations with you and your team, actually this could be a 12-month program. And first of all, it was going to be a very low ticket, and it was, but just conversations with you, I saw, no, it's such great
How
value.
much was it originally? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, it was, we did 12 weeks. I think it was 1997
Mm,
sterling.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so it was underpricing, undervalued. But what was like, what did you think you were missing before it? Was it a time element, or you just didn't know how to scale?
Hmm. I think I've known how to scale, but knowing and doing is a different thing. Having somebody like you who's been there, done that, seen it, I think it was time that I always think, why do people do it all by themselves? Like, time is the most precious commodity. Pay someone to shorten that time and you'll make a lot more money. So I think for me, time was definitely important because, I was going through the adoption process, and, you know, for my business, I have to maybe take about 3, 4 months to step back and not put my foot on the pedal so much. So it was really imperative that I made sure everything is going to be automated as much as it can. And I build a team. So I have that big support team behind me, which is what we're going to be going into. That's our next step.
No, that makes sense, Elaine. And look, I think a lot, what did I love that. What you said there is very poignant. Like it makes total sense to save time, right? But why do people not take that decision? So, it is an advanced, entrepreneurial thinking. Find
Mm.
someone else who's already done it, copy, pay, whatever it may be to speed up the process. The majority of people don't think like that. It's a very few. We get it, and I mean that in the nicest way, because I 100% agree with you. If I'm going to go out into a new network, or I'm testing a new platform, I literally hire someone. I've finished testing a new platform after hiring about, I mean, I must have hired at least 4 or 5 different consultants to give me a range of different information, because they've already spent 2 to 3 years testing it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm immediately fast tracking that. And it makes total sense because we have ROI off the back of that. And it's a smart entrepreneurial way of thinking. But why do you think people don't do that then, in today's world, which is, it is, I'm seeing it more and more and more. I'm sure you have as well. Like, there is so much overwhelm, there's so much information available. Why do you think people don't make that decision, in
Yeah.
your view?
Yeah. In my view, I think what's underlying it is fear of loss of money. They're not even
Versus
focused on
loss
the
of
time.
time.
Yeah, they're not even thinking
Which
about time. They're just thinking about, what if I pay this money and it doesn't work? And then for me, that then really what's behind it is, can I make it work? Am I good enough? What if this doesn't? So for me, they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on lack of. Um, I think it was Anthony Robbins or Napoleon Hill said, the decide, commit, resolve. People who are very
Mm.
successful, they decide, they commit to it, and then they just make it work. And I think a lot of times people don't have that mindset of, actually, I'm going to commit to it. And you know what? I'm going to make it work. And along the way, I'm going to learn so much that that's going to be valuable, much valuable than money for me going forward. So I think it's always for me fear. Am I good enough? Is this going to work?
So on that, so here's a question for you, right? Do you think that someone has had to have already gone through, because I agree again, but I think it's different. If you've already tried to do it, wasted time, then you start to realize actually time is way more valuable. Everyone says, you know, time is more valuable, but they don't actually act in that way. They still save, they try to save a little bit of money and do everything themselves. And so to be an entrepreneur and try and do everything yourself is just crazy. You can't do it. And if you don't make cash flow, you can't hire other people to do stuff for you. You can't scale.
Yeah.
But do you think they have to have gone through that trial and error first? Have you ever experienced other people do try to do stuff straight off the bat without even going down the time delay element? Or because I had a 5-year business that literally sucked every ounce out of me, and off the back of that I was like, I'm never ever ever losing time again.
Yeah, I mean, can't really speak for other people. I can speak for myself, and of course, yes, I remember over the years I've spent 10K on a program, 1,000 on a program, and I just didn't finish it. I didn't put the time in, the effort, and I kept on thinking, stop doing this. It's a waste of your money. If you're going to commit to it, do it. But then
Mm,
I did a course, and the course was very powerful about being your word. And I know you've heard me speak about it, but when you're being your word, when you say you're going to do A, you do A. And it was like a 7-month program, and it trained us to be our word. Like, if you
mm,
say you're going to do something, do it. And the more that I was my word, the better results I had in my life. And I was more productive in 1 year than I'd been in 5 years. So I think a culmination of having that type of training and going through the pain of not getting the results from being in programs, I said, it's just all up to me. And if I pay for something, I need to make sure it's like a recipe. You give us a recipe and follow the recipe. Stop doing it yourself and trying to put prunes in a banana cake. Follow the recipe, do what it says, do it, when it says you're meant to do it, and you'll get the cake. And that's what I've
mm.
learned to do.
And if you take the ingredient in the wrong proportion, the cake tastes different.
Exactly.
um so look, what's one of the best things that you found with the support going through the process? What have you liked the best? Sometimes people say like the methodology, sometimes people say the live support, sometimes people say the 24/7 support. What for you has been the best so far?
I think it's sitting there with a red hood. You, Ed, of course. I think I've been on lots of programs, but yours for me, and I'm not saying it just because we're on this call, I've said it to other people, that support is phenomenal. The fact we can jump on twice a week, have our call, our questions answered, but also more importantly for me, I like fast. Come on, give me. And the fact that when I jump on the Facebook group and I can get my answer usually from somebody within a few, 5, 6 hours, priceless. It enables me to then move on to the next thing. So I think it's that support that you give us. Obviously, your modules are really great. You break down things. You're funny. You're energized. I know, is your head getting bigger? You're loving it.
No, no, it's look, it's not that. I it's we spent years refining the process based on knowing what people need from being someone that has also invested into, like, no bullshit, millions worth of training. I still spend 40 grand. I've spent 40 grand this month on my team, and that's other people training them in a range of different assets. They all have their own coach individually, and so it's like, you're preaching to the converted, because you know I gone through and know every single other person's program out there, and so I'm always looking at ways of which we can fine tune it. So I think the support element is the thing that unfortunately most people in the online space lack, because they don't have consistency, or they don't have a methodology, or they don't have the right support. And that's why most people fail, in my view, today. So look, I appreciate you that saying that. It doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate you, Elaine, for
Thank
for
you.
appreciating that. And so look,
And I'll just say
what
the last thing also is it's easy then to model.
mm,
I'm
like
modeling
that, 100%.
myself after what you're doing because
If
it works.
Yeah, if you copy the same processes, I'll explain a new process that we brought in, which is absolutely no brainer, like absolutely killer. Um, and then as you see the advance, how we structure that too, oh, it's so, I mean, that's a 3.5 year project in of itself, just refining it. But anyway, what do you think, how does it feel for you emotionally to put that sort of money in the bank? Because a lot of people don't believe that sort of thing, and I think it is almost unbelievable when a lot of people, Elaine, like they're working, like all the time that they can work, and then when they see things like that or hear things like that, they go, well, how is that even possible? And it's like, like we're only on the tap of it. As you start to get your mid-level program, you see how many people are out there. It's just numbers. That's all it is. When you're not there doing the sales either, it's just numbers. It makes no difference. And so, like I think there's a quantum lift and thinking, difference, where you go, actually, like, because unless you have an automated system, there's no way of you getting larger numbers up, because you're going to be confined by how many hours are in the day. So what does it feel for you emotionally where you're at right now?
Yeah, I feel humbled. I feel that, that people trust in my process, that I can make a difference to them. I feel very blessed that I'm in this position to support people. With regards to the money, I think it's down to your relationship with money. I have a very healthy relationship to money. I see it as a means to an end. Um, I won't say I'm overjoyed. I know I'm not like whoa because I still have
Of
to deliver. I have to deliver
course.
on what they've paid for. So that's like my focus. And the money's just there doing whatever it's doing, paying tax and VAT and all that that. But my it's great. And when it comes in, I actually don't even think about it too much because my focus is on my clients and
Nice.
making a huge difference to them. And I think service to many will lead to greatness for all of us.
Mm. Totally. Money is a complete byproduct. You've got the right lens there. At the end of the day, it is a byproduct, and it's a byproduct of value driven. So yeah, I agree. That being said, Elaine, if you were to speak to someone who was on the edge, right, and they were worried about that, jumping, joining, what would you say to them to help encourage them to take the next bold step in their life?
Hmm. Take a deep breath. I always say if your thoughts about whatever it is diminishes you or other people, let them go. It's just something you've made up to protect yourself, to keep you in survival. You're not there to survive in life, you're there to thrive. Only focus on thoughts that will expand you. So, yes, it might be scary and acknowledge that. And you are powerful beyond belief. You've got to step into who you truly are and never, never diminish yourself. You're incredible. There's people waiting for you, and they're waiting for you to get out of your own way. You're your problem and you are your solution, which is a great thing. And you've got El Capitan to help lead.
I love that, Lane. Like getting out of your way though is just take that statement. Like your current way will only be able to generate what
Mhm.
you've currently done. And I think for me, when I was leveling up, I remember, like, if you don't continually level up your thinking and push yourself into a different level of thinking, that may be investment into a group, investment into training, whether it's with us or not, makes no difference, but you have to level up continually. I still, like, as I said, I pay for our team to go to, masterminds. We're part of a range of different ones. We have to hold you know, those relationships in place. We have to hit certain figures. So I'm not telling people to do stuff that I don't do myself. But I remember thinking, I remember when I first realized like who you are right now with your current thinking will
Mm.
never get to
Yeah.
where you want to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like that's, so wherever you are right now is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's got you to where you are now. And
God
so,
bless.
and if you worry about that next step, then that's the reason that you actually have to do it, because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll never get that, because otherwise you'd have already got that. And I'm always fascinated that people still have blocks with that sort, you know, like, and I get it as you get it. You've done a lot of training over the years, and you know, like sometimes I just think, oh my, like
Well, I think
I
the
just don't know
reason
why you worry about anything.
yeah, the reason I like your program as well is because not only in the modules, but in the evening live calls, you're always feeding this, development, personal development. You're always helping us to upgrade our mindset. I've done a lot of training myself, so I love being in your environment because it's not just about clients and automation. It's actually who you're becoming, who you need to be in order to get where you're going. And so just feel that even though you might be scared, know that you've got Ed and the team behind you and they're going to uplift you. You're in a big conversation about life. Who wouldn't want to be in that type of
Mm.
conversation?
But like that's, you know, it's a big part of what we do. I love it. I live it, I breathe it. It's the center of why I started this in the first place. Actually, like being able to generate clients is a byproduct of what I've always done. So I've always actually centered as a mindset. You know,
Yeah.
that's behavioral specialist is what I'm conditioned at, and how I built that business is the client's automation methodology. So it's still the core of what we do. Look, Elaine, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It doesn't work without amazing people like yourself. So, you know, I'm super pumped, proud of you because you're killing it. And I'm looking forward to the next step. So that being said, let's get you clear on your next steps.